So it's funny you should say that the patient is at the center, because as we got into this, we also developed a clinical trials conference. Unlike most clinical trials conference, it's really quite multidisciplinary. This year, our 7th annual clinical trials conference will focus on bringing clinical research to clinical practice, and we'll look at worldwide trends such as happened with the recovery trial for COVID, and bring in some people from the National Institute of Health in the UK, a research institute, to discuss this as well. But from this clinical trial group, we developed something called PACT, or Patient-Centered Approach to Clinical Trials, which is a beautiful group of individuals and organizations that are very focused on patient centricity in clinical trials, from the ideation of the trial to the development of the protocol, throughout the clinical trial continuum and post-trial, and looked at that. And this group continually works throughout the year on different aspects, whether it's in clinical trial navigation or otherwise. And one of the things that we developed was something called the Canadian Clinical Trials Transformation Initiative. So following what Duke University had done in the FDA in the United States, we Canadianized a model showing how patient groups and patients could and should be involved in the clinical trial continuum in order to enhance clinical trials and ensure that they really met the needs of the patient. And from that group, we also developed a charter of 5 basic tenets, which included things like transparency and bringing in and educating the patient group and teaching the researcher to work together with patients and researchers together, the follow-up with real-world evidence, and so forth. And these tenets can be found actually colorectalcancercanada.ca is one of our sites, but we also have pactcanada.org. I actually think I said our website wrong. It's colorectalcancercanada.com, okay, and it's pactcanada.org, P-A-C-T, Canada.org. And on there, you could see those tenets in the charter and so forth. And now we're working to see how we can pilot that charter by getting pharmaceutical companies and academic researchers to employ the model where they work together with patients and patient groups in order to inform clinical trials and bring back that information, even post-trial, to regulatory and HTA bodies. So the patient centricity is really first and foremost what PACT does, and we work with pharma companies around the world, and we see, well, maybe they don't actually have the same understanding as patient centricity as we do. So, for example, in one large pharmaceutical company, they have a group that works on patient centricity and another that works on clinical trials, and those two are two separate groups, but really they should be working hand in hand right from the very beginning of the ideation of the clinical trial. And that's what we're trying to get them to do.